All right, there we go. There we go. Hey guys, this is Bruce. Welcome to Convocourses podcast, and this is going to be a short one. Um, I'm going to continue with the AI part one, and rather than I'm going to do a recap of what we talked about 2 weeks ago, and then I'm just going to tell you like no script, no marketing, just straight up. We're going to talk about AI. My name is Bruce. I've been in cybersecurity for about 20 years. I've been in IT for over 20 years. And mostly I talk about cybersecurity, governance, risk, and compliance. And I try to help people to get where I'm at, right? Which is not, it's not a big deal, but I do work from home. I do make more than the average American. And I'm living pretty good, and I'm able to take care of my family and start businesses and things like that. I'm not wealthy, I'm not rich, but I can see I'm blessed. I'm definitely blessed, and I owe a lot of that to being in cybersecurity. I owe a lot of that to being in this career path that I've chosen. So, what I want to talk to you today is about AI, and I've been watching a lot of videos about it, and I've been learning a lot about it and trying to get into this space. Last couple weeks ago, I talked about this. I broke down why this is important. Why is AI important? What is the impact of it? What's going on? So I talked about a tool. This is one of many tools called ESM3, which is essentially it mimics DNA in that it can produce proteins. It can engineer proteins using a process where it simulates what DNA does and then simulates 500 million years. I mean, it's insane. But this is only one of many tools that are being generated. And what this will be able to do is create proteins to help with diseases, but it can also be bad. I mean, some people can make a disease specifically to attack nation states. You can make awesome bioweapons with this. So it has a good side and of course a very evil side. We talked about the Genome Project. Genome is another generative AI tool that's used by scientists. I think it's coming from DeepMind, and they've been able to produce 2.2 million new crystals in different formations of crystals. And just to kind of put that in context, humanity, since we've been able to do anything with material science, has created about 20,000. But this genome um, generative AI was able to make 421, and this is it's 421 million thousand 421,000. So a 20x in discoveries of material sciences, making new. I mean, think about that. You'll be able to make hybrid steel, hybrid glass, all kinds of different composites of materials to make stronger, taller buildings, make domes underwater, deep underwater, make all kinds of material. And that's coming from the Genome Project. And we talked about AI agents a little bit, about how artificial intelligence using generative AI is able to create a software that sits on your computer that can actually navigate websites and do work for you, essentially make websites, all that kind of thing. We talked about 11 Labs and how it is using voice AI agents to um, help out call centers, so that you can replace call center people or help them in their job. We talked about self-evolving AI models that are coming up. We talked a little bit about a project where an AI was able to talk to another AI, and it came up with a religion and started a meme coin and made millions of dollars. Um, we talked about a little bit about where this is going, which is AGI and possibly uh, ASI, artificial superintelligence. And Where is all this going? So eventually AI will be able to create an AI that's smarter than itself. Think about this. Like an AI will get smart enough. Not now, like it's going to take some years, right? It's coming in the future. It's not now, but an AI will be able to create an AI that's much smarter than itself, and it's already smarter than the average person. But AGI, artificial general intelligence, that is smarter than every person, will be able to make something that is thousands of times smarter than itself, and at that point, we won't be able to comprehend it. But what I want to talk to you about today, just briefly, is just have an honest conversation about this, and not to. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying to hype this up. I know there's a lot of hype about making money with AI and using AGI agents and all this stuff that's going on. And I don't want to be a part of that hype train. I'm not saying that stuff's not true, but that's not why I do these videos. I do it so you can hear somebody from the inside, somebody who does this for a living, doing cybersecurity stuff. My job, I work with the government. I'm a contractor working for the Department of Homeland Security. I'm an information system security officer. I want you to hear firsthand what this work is all about. And so for me, what I think about this is from the perspective of someone whose job is going to be affected by this, and how can I use this to my advantage, and then what am I doing right now to get prepared for all this stuff? Because I would say within the next 5 years, the impact is going to be drastic, and I would say there's already an impact happening in multiple industries. And I'm not saying it's taking all jobs or anything like that. I'm saying that I'll give you a specific example. In where I work, they're already integrating, allowing us to use AI, large language models, to do some of our work, and they're already warning us, like, okay, here's how you use it, here's the safe way to use it, here's kind of things that we can do to make it enhance our work. They're already talking about they're testing how they can implement it into our work, like using sensitive information within our infrastructure. They're already talking about it where I work with the government. So it's happening, right? This is not like hype. It's not just hype. Like, it's really affecting work. And I think that some of it's for the better, and some of it's, some of it's going to be good, not some of it's not going to be good. Just like anything, just like the internet, there was great things about it, but there's also some things that were not so good about it. It's not in and of itself. I don't think AI, just like cloud technology, just like social media, just like phones, it's not a evil thing by itself. It's a tool that we can use to do what we want to do, to do what we need to do. That said, that tool will be used for evil by humans. It'll be used for good, and it'll be used for evil, just like all the other tools. You can use a hammer to fix a house, but you can also use it to hurt people. Like, it's a tool, and that's how I see it. Now I'm just thinking to myself, how can I use this tool? So what I've been doing this isn't for you to do or not do. I would not advise you to ignore this technology. You should learn as much as possible. What I'm doing is I'm integrating and using it as much as possible. So at my job, as much as they allow me to use it, I use it. I use it. I'm not putting out sensitive information. I know what to do and what not to do. I'm doing it within the areas that they're allowing us to use it. But what do we have in our environment at my job? We have Copilot that's integrated in the browsers already. It's already integrated into the Edge browser. So, that's one thing. I'm already using that when I can. Um, I'll use it to, like, write a implementation statement for a system security plan. I'll strip out all of any kind of sensitive information, and then I'll run it through. I'll have it enhance what I've already written for an implementation statement, and then I'll take that data, that template, and I'll rewrite it and put in the sensitive information on our network. I'll do stuff like that. In my business, I'm starting to learn automation what I started off small. I just use OpenAI. I'll use Claude. I'll use different platforms to do to help me to write better. I'll take what I wrote. I'll take a chapter and I'll have it say, hey, what problems do you see with this? And it'll rewrite it for me. It'll come up with different things. I'll reread it and then I'll adjust it. Um, I'll Right now what I'm starting to do besides prompting and using open chat GPT and Claude AI and Gemini. I use that one from time to time. Another thing I'm doing is starting to do automation using make.com and Airtable to streamline my delivery of some of the content that I put out there on social media. That's helped out quite a bit. I'll use it for editing videos. I use Descript.com. It's a really good editing software that cut down my time for editing. It used to take me days to edit. Now it takes minutes. It takes, what used to take me out days now takes minutes. Now, granted, I'm not doing like super heavy editing like I used to do, but it would at least take me a couple hours to do editing. Now it takes under an hour to do editing. And then even when I give that to my staff, they can just take it and just, use that editing tool to very quickly go through it. So it enhances their work, enhances my work. But yeah, I'm also right now getting into, I love Descript. Yeah, Descript is awesome. Um, I'm getting into automation using Make, which is way more complicated because I'm having to take it's stripping out the content from things like my sales page and then moving it over to another. I'm using it to merge some of my contents, and that's going to take me a while to do. So you won't see any of that stuff for a while. Um, so I'm doing a lot of this stuff to learn as much as possible. And I thought the best way for me to learn it is to integrate it into my business, into my job, into my life. So I use it as much as possible so I can learn as much as possible. And this is something I wish I would have done with cloud when it first came out. I was around when cloud first came out. Like when first started and get really big and hitting the industry. I'm sure that there was stuff, when I was a baby, when that's cloud like, but I'm saying when it started to penetrate the market more, AWS and Salesforce and all those guys started to sell it to the general public. I was around and I saw it happen. And then in several positions I was in, I was a part of that. So I was part of systems being put on cloud. And I just wish at that time I would have been more involved. I wish I would have gotten like a certification or learned way more about it. I wish I would have learned as much about cloud. I'm learning it now, but I wish I would have learned as much about cloud as I do about like WordPress. I know WordPress really good, and that's because I just been messing with it so long. And I'm not going to make that same mistake with AI, and I don't think that you should either. Like what we should do is IT professionals, or if you're trying to get into this market, or if you're a student, or whatever the case may be, is you should start learning it as much as possible. It's not going away. It's not just hype. I think some of it, some of the stuff that people are saying, like the far extreme stuff of like it's going to destroy all humanity, or it's useless, it's not what we think it is, or whatever. It's somewhere in between, right? It's somewhere in the middle. It's real. it's it's definitely already being implemented in a bunch of security tools that I use. It's already being implemented in your browser, in your operating systems that you use, it's being integrated in every aspect of our life. It's on your phone already. What we need to do right now is learn as much as possible as IT professionals. And for me, I'm using prompts. I'm integrating automation into my workflow in my job and in my business, in my personal life. Anywhere I can use it, I'm using it. And I just feel like we should lean in because it's not going to go away. There's nothing we can do to stop it. And as GRC professionals, we should learn everything we can about how the ethics of it, like how is it going to affect our work environment, and then how can we make it safe? Like what can we do if we catch things that people are not doing the same? Maybe we notify HR and say, hey, this tool is available, but it's doing X, Y, and Z. Maybe we should, be a part of that process to where we integrate ourselves into this life. Like AI is a part of it, and then it's not going away. Another thing I'm doing to learn this stuff is, besides automation and using it on a regular basis, is learning as much cloud as I can, because it's all built on cloud. So I figure the more I learn about that, the better. And I see you guys talking to me, and I want you to be a part of this conversation. So for as much as possible, what do you think about AI? Do you think it's all hype? What are you doing to prepare for it? What do you think about it? Do you think it's bad for us, or you think it's good for us as a species? What do you think? Okay, I got Will Reed. How you doing, man? Damn, Will Reed is in here. My man, Damon Goward's here, man. How you doing, man? I'll be in California pretty soon here. Let's start with the first one here. Mr. MacArthur says, hey, you might want to interview or do a video on Chris, founder of AI holographic quantum computing and 0 point energy and wormholes. I'll look into that. It sounds pretty far fetched, but I'll definitely look into that. I know that one of the things that's really interesting is AGI. You said it in the next thing here. You said AGI and quantum computing is going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy. Like those things are going to happen. That's going to happen in our lifetime. In our lifetime, real science fiction's is happening right now as we speak. And one of those is artificial general intelligence. That means an artificial intelligence that theoretically can think just like a human being and way beyond a human. It can do everything a human. If you put an AGI in a human skull somehow, in a body, it would be able to recognize space. It would be able to make coffee and then talk to you about the news about the CEO getting shot in New York. It'd be able to have a conversation and then get up and go get a glass of water. It'd be able to do everything that we can do. Unlike right now, ChatGPT can't do all those things. It doesn't have spatial awareness. It doesn't know nonverbal cues. It doesn't know. It's so many things it can't do. Like, it's really, really good at like taking a test or something like that, or it's a language model. So it's compiled all these thousands of paragraphs of information so that it can recognize human patterns of speech, so it can figure out what you're going to say next. It's like a very complicated, amazing autocorrect feature that's guessing the next word. I know that sounds crazy, but it's that good at patterns that it can recognize. It can take what you wrote and then take all the patterns that it's learned and then know, okay, here's the best way for you to do this pattern. That's what large language models do. It's very awesome. It's cool, but it cannot do what you do. But AGI can. It can walk around. It can know the distance between me and the mic, it's has spatial depth and language model and pattern recognition and everything. So think about that being put in a quantum computer. Now, a quantum computer can calculate, and now the quantum computers are still being developed. So instead of using, and I don't understand it fully. I'm super stupid at it, but I can tell you this. A conventional computer uses ones and zeros to calculate things, right? It can calculate things millions of times faster than a human. But a quantum computer doesn't use on and off switches. It doesn't use a binary 0 and 1 to calculate things. It uses 4 qubits. It uses actual atoms to calculate. So it's millions of times faster and can do a lot of things that the conventional computer cannot do. Or it will take it millions of years. Put it to you this way: what will take a conventional computer, like a computer that you're watching me on right now, whether it's a phone or a computer, that will take millions of years to break certain encryption, right? A really hard encryption. It can break it, but it will take millions of years. Even a supercomputer is going to take so long to crack it because of the way it's made. That's a feature of it. But it will be impossible for a human to do it. But a conventional computer could crack an AES code in a million years. A quantum computer could do it in a few minutes. So it's a big difference between a quantum computer, a human and a conventional computer, and a quantum computer and a conventional computer. So now think about that being an AI being put into a quantum computer. It's hard for us to comprehend how far. That's when it's gonna leave the stratosphere of our understanding. It's like imagine an ant in your house walking on a wall. That ant only understands pheromones and is following a trace. We're ants, right? In a house with AI walking around. Like the AI understands a depth of knowledge that we cannot comprehend. It could come to that. Like I know it sounds like science fiction, but it's all that's possible. All right. Will Reed says, I love Descript. Yeah, I use it all the time. Like it's my main editing software right now. I mean, I've been using it for about a year now, and man, it's incredible. I haven't found anything better. I've tried other things, but the way that they've got it mapped, and there's a couple of things that are coming out. Like they've got a non-linear. I don't know if you guys heard of this one, but non-linear editing tool that's also AI. I just read something about this and I thought it was really interesting, and I'm having trouble finding it. But that one I might try. What I've been doing is like every time something new comes out, I'll mess around with it and stuff to see if it's useful, because I want to learn by using that product. And Descript is one of those things that have made the cut. And among other things that have made the cut, Midjourney has been fun. Every now and then I'll get on Midjourney and mess around with that to help me with book covers or something like that. Descript, of course, I use that on a regular basis. I started using make.com, and I'm going to integrate some Airtable stuff. It's not really AI, but you can integrate AI APIs into it, which is I want to get to. I want to do that. I use ChatGPT very often. I use Claude AI. I use Gemini from Google. Those are the main things and tools I've used. Other tools are, there's one called Repurpose, which is not AI, but it sends out stuff. I think it has an AI component in it. Trying to think of another one. Video AI is another one I use to do short videos. Damn, what's another one? I know I'm forgetting some. Copilot, I use that one. So those are the main tools I've been using to learn as much as possible. My next stage of learning in 2025 will be to get into deeply into automation and probably learn some Python. I'm thinking about doing a AWS or an Azure AI certification to go much deeper. To go that much deeper next year is what my plan is, to learn as much as possible. Oh man, Damon, how you doing, man? Let me see. Will Reed says two key skills to develop to prepare to leverage AI for our benefit is prompt engineering and automation. Absolutely. So that's what I'm doing right now is getting into automation as much as possible, because I've noticed that well, it's just much easier to do if you integrate automation into your process. Especially, I've got my biggest audiences on here, on YouTube, on TikTok, and then I try to post as much as possible on all the other platforms. But I'm not currently posting some of my best work all over, which is writing. Like I can write, so I just haven't been doing that. I just haven't had time to put that stuff out. I write for books, so a lot of my time is writing to put the stuff in a book, but I could be taking snippets of what I write in those books and all the stuff that I say on these videos. Automation would allow me to take snippets from these videos and then post a note or a quote and put that into Instagram or something, or I could put that in. There's so many things I'm not doing with all this volume of content that I have that I could be doing if I had AI. I'd have to use prompt engineering, AI, and API key from OpenAI or Claude. I'd have to do all those things together. And so I want to do projects where I do all those things together so I can put all this stuff out. And maybe what I'll do is invite you guys into some of these projects with me. We can do it together. Let me see. How will AI affect GRC jobs? I will have some impact because right now I'm already seeing it. When I apply for jobs, I'm seeing a lot of jobs wanting, not all jobs. Okay, so let me just put a caveat in there for GRC cybersecurity type jobs. I'm not seeing all jobs ask for AI background or anything like that, but I'm seeing more jobs ask for some kind of, they're looking for people who have some AI knowledge that because they're integrating AI into their boundaries. So they want somebody to be able to speak to it and help to keep it safe and keep their own data safe, really. Because the thing is, just kind of give you an example, like where I'm working, is that we have AI tools in our environment right now. Like one of them is Chrome. So I'm not Chrome, uh, Copilot. So Copilot is integrated into the browser that we use, right? That was integrated by Microsoft. In the beginning, we were like, man, are they going to strip this out? How's the government going to deal with this? But what they did was they said, look, we'll keep it in, but we're going to educate our users to not put sensitive information when they're using Copilot, because you'll have let's say you wanted to research logs. You had a bunch of logs and you wanted to put it in Copilot and ask Copilot, hey, what do you see in here that's interesting traffic? Are there any security incidents in here, right? The problem with that is that you're taking sensitive information. Those logs are going to include things like, well, it could actually have it could show vulnerabilities. It's going to show IPs that you might not want to make public. It'll show host names. It'll show all usernames, maybe even full names in the logs. So if you put that in, maybe even passwords, I mean, you're going to put that in Copilot. The problem with that is Copilot is on Azure servers that are not controlled directly by the government entity or organization that you happen to be in. So it's going to go somewhere that sensitive information could be seen by somebody who's not authorized to see it. Because when it takes that data to analyze it, when the AI takes it, it's taking it into the cloud to do its magic, and then it's giving you an output. And so when it's taken into the cloud to do its magic, somebody else could, in probability, possibly have access to that information. Case in point, there was not necessarily a breach, but there was an accident that there's an issue that happened with OpenAI, where OpenAI was using they were using some code that they got from GitHub to help with the chat, help with the chat history. That history that goes down as you're typing stuff, the history. They were using some open source script so that thing had a bug in it where it allowed everyone to see on ChatGPT everyone else's prompts, which is a problem because Samsung was using it. They allowed all their employees to use it, but they didn't have any rules put in place. So their badass engineering team at Samsung, this was about a year ago. I think it was beginning of 2024 or end of 2023. It was not too long ago. Their badass engineers at Samsung, they were putting sensitive information on stuff they're working on. Samsung is doing some awesome stuff, right? Some real proprietary intellectual property that if their competitors got a hold of that, they could take it and then do what they want with it, right? Kind of like what China's doing with the US, stealing information. And anyway, so Samsung's engineers put their stuff out there, and that stuff could have gotten leaked to someone else, like, because like I said, ChatGPT had a thing where you could see other people's prompts. Now, they've since fixed it. And after that, Samsung, corporate office was like, okay, let's end this. And they try to reach out to ChatGPT to try to get those logs back, because they were, messing around. I think they were working on the latest storage feature that they have that's better than a lot of their competitors, like Apple or something. So, you can't just put sensitive information out. There's not a good idea, I should say, to put sensitive information in these. So how does it affect GRC jobs? It definitely affects GRC jobs, because we are on the forefront of protecting this information. So just like when now that cloud is integrated freaking everywhere, we as GRC people have to know how to protect those things, how to protect cloud. I've got, in my environment, I've got cloud systems. I've got to know what to do to protect those cloud and those systems. So I have to know the basics about cloud. And it's going to be the same thing with AI. So as much as possible, we need to know. Now you're probably thinking, well, what if AI takes the GRC jobs and stuff? I think that's a stretch. Like, I think at this point, if generative AI is not going to take your job, like, it's not good enough. It hallucinates. It's not. So that's another thing. If you start learning this, start doing prompt engineering, you'll start to see certain things where it's not perfect. It's a great tool. It's an incredible tool. It's definitely going to change how we do things in humanity and all that stuff, but it's not perfect. You can't just, it's not going to take anybody's general AI is not going to take GRC jobs right now. Not yet. Maybe in the future, but it's not there yet. Even with AI agents, like if you set up an AI agent to do what we do, we're talking to people. GRC is still a human problem. So if anything, I think what it'll do is it'll enhance our job. It'll help us to do our job better. Now, in the far future, when you've got AGI and they can hire an AGI to do everything, maybe, I don't know. Like, none of us know the full impact of AI yet. We just don't know. And so if somebody's saying that they do know, they're really just speculating it. You know what I mean? So Damon said AI is good, but still needs work. But once it gets work, it will probably get scary. In my opinion, it's already scary. From what the stuff I've been seeing, it's already scary. I don't think that we're scared about the right thing yet. In my opinion, I just don't think that we're scared about the right thing. People are scared that they're going to lose their jobs. I'm scared about the existential crisis that's going to happen with it. Because as these tools start to get used in certain industries, I feel like, I'll take one industry like healthcare. Like healthcare, it will be the scientific research behind it might be able to extend human life by a number of years. And I'm not saying, like, it's just a change, like the amount of change that it can make on our DNA, on us as a species, to make people live longer, to eliminate certain diseases, but also to create certain diseases. Think about it. If you can make life longer and eliminate diseases, you can do the reverse with the same tools. And I just feel like people will weaponize it, just like with nuclear weapons. Like, you can use it to fuel a whole city, but you can also use it to nuke a city. And I don't think that human beings, like, we're children. We just don't. We're like territorial primates, and we act like children. We can't. We're we're just so tribal, and people pick their tribes and then identify with that tribe and pretend to be a part of that tribe at any cost. They're afraid to be wrong because their ego. We're just like children. We're like spoiled children, and this is like a nuclear weapon that can create other nuclear weapons. And I don't think AI is the problem. I think we're the problem because people will make an AI that does some evil shit. That's the thing that I'm most afraid of is people with a very effective tool. Dame says more work for GRC and SOC, I guess. Yeah, probably. I think it might even make more work. That's one thing that might happen is that it'll have more work because as organizations start to use it, it might increase their business. Like their business might think about it. Their business, a business like financial sector, might be able to have more business using AI and therefore bring on more people to help them to manage it. So I think there might for cybersecurity, it might increase what we do for some time until something else happens where to where it's smart enough to take on the jobs, you know. I think there's like a curve happening right here. At first it'll make more jobs and then after a while something's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I read this book called Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil. And if you haven't read that, man, it's an amazing book. But he's very, very positive about AI. But one of the concepts I really love that he brings up is called a technological singularity, which I'm not sure if he's the person who coined that phrase. It might have been one of my favorite, um, one of my, it might be a sci-fi author that came up with that. I believe a sci-fi author, the guy who made Rainbow End, I can't remember his Werner Vinge. I think he's the one who coined the phrase. Anyway, neither here nor there. So a technological singularity. The reason why they call it a singularity is because in a black hole, a singularity is the thing inside the black hole that is beyond human understanding because it's beyond physics. It's beyond our current understanding of science and math. Because the gravity is so great that whatever we have, the tools, the language, the mathematics, the concepts we have cannot explain beyond the event horizon. So a technological singularity is something beyond our understanding. Like it's something so powerful, so great, so beyond our physical understanding that we cannot comprehend it. And in the book, he talks about AI getting smart enough to make other AIs that are smart enough to make other AIs. And after a while, it's so beyond our understanding, we can't possibly keep up with it. It's formulating questions that we don't have the mental capacity to come up with. Not even the smartest among us, not even the smartest person can comprehend what this thing is talking about. At some point, that's what's going to happen. And Ray Kurzweil is no joke. Like that guy, I think for a while he was a CTO at Google for some time, or fellow at Google. I don't. He's one of the dudes who he came up with the Kurzweil keyboard. He invented that. He's an inventor of. He's got several patents in text to speech. I believe he's the man who created it. He's a brilliant, super brilliant guy. He's a polymath, and he's no joke. But the thing is, if you read that book, he's got a timeline of all these inventions that he was accurate on a lot of them, including what's happening right now with AI. He was correct about what's going on, and so something amazing is about to happen with that singularity. Nobody really knows. If people can speculate all they want, but nobody actually knows what's going to happen when AI comes to a point where it's way beyond humans. I'm trying to look for his timeline because it's pretty accurate. And he came up with this in like the 80s. This guy's no joke, man. I'm telling you, the man is no joke. Let me see if I can find Ray Kurzweil's Ray Kurzweil, and I believe his mission is to live forever. He's a madman. He's a madman, and I'm trying to find this timeline that he has in that book that he came up with in the 80s or the 90s. I don't recall. I don't remember when he came up with it, but it's very accurate. It's right on point. Let me see here. Ray Kurzweil, Mac. These all human brains, one human brain. Oh man, this is crazy. Okay, let me show you this. Now keep in mind, he did this a long time ago. So let's see. So right here, he's calculating when a computer is on the same level as an insect, and that was 2001. Then in 2010, he said the computer will be about the same as like a mouse's brain. And then he said 2023, he calculated a computer will be able to match one human brain. And he's talking about the ability to calculate. And then he said by 2050, there'll be a computer that can match all human brains at once. He had another one. Let me see if I can find that one. That was really, really good. There's one in his book that's really, really good. Human brain. Let me see. Singularity. Okay. I'm not sure if this is the one. This is one of the ones that people look at, but yeah. So I remember his calculation was somewhere around 2030 that there'll be an AGI, a full blown AGI, is smart as a human and can do everything a human can do. And what his solution to all this was to merge human intelligence with it. That was his solution to it. I know it sounds crazy, but we're living in sci-fi world in the very beginnings of it. Okay, let me take some questions before I get out of here. I'm not going to be really long on this one. I've got some stuff to do. Let me see. I'm on TikTok right now, going through some comments or questions, or yeah, if you guys have any, what is your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this whole AI thing? Okay, let me see. Somebody said that would be dumbing down AI. The point is to shed the human constraints. All right. Somebody said AI. It's now to jump inside, and it's the digital age. The digital age. Okay. What else? What else you guys got to say? AI is only as smart as its user. Good point. Good point. Got to write good prompts. Got to ask the right questions. Somebody said thoughts on getting a Google Cloud certification. I would say the Google Cloud certification is up there with the big. It's part of the big three. You know, I would say in order right now is AWS, who has like 30% of the market share of cloud right now as of 2024, and I think into 2025 they keep that share. Probably even 2026. At some point, somebody's going to take them out. And then right after them, with like 22% market share, is Azure, which is owned by Microsoft. So that would be a very good group of certifications to get. And then I think at 10% of the market share, it's Google. So going by market share, it's still a good certification. It's still a good track to go on. And I know that GovTech, they do use some Google Cloud in there. They allow the use of it, and so there is some, but most of it is Azure and AWS. Shares of cloud, market share of cloud market share. Let me show you what I mean here. I just want to see if I can find a image. It's talking about the market. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, check this out. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm showing AWS. It says worldwide market share of leading cloud infrastructure. And it starts off AWS with 31% of the total market share, including all over the world. Azure is a 20%, and Google is 12%, and then followed by Alibaba 4%. I was shocked by this because I would think that Alibaba in China would have been the biggest one, but it's probably because China is the only ones really using it, or the main ones using it, and nobody else on planet Earth is using it, or very few people on planet Earth are using it. Um, and then Google, Oracle 3%, CloudForce, who used CloudForce, Salesforce is at 2%, and Salesforce, they were kind of in the beginning, they were the top, they were one of the top 3 or 4, but now it's down to 2. IBM Cloud, they're trying to get in there. Tencent, also a Chinese company, is 2%, probably only being sold in China. So yeah, Google, I would say Google Cloud is a good one. And plus they have some awesome machine learning and AI stuff. They're going to be top 3 in that space, if not top 2, because they're killing it. They're trying to keep up. Rondo says, I have the GIAC critical controls cert, and I am bouncing back. I'm bouncing back and forth between the CSP and the CISP as the next cert. Listening to you now has me wondering if I should focus on AI. So let me talk about this. Is a great question. I first of all, let me answer your question. You should do the CISP. don't don't chase shiny objects. Um, so AI is definitely a shiny object. But right now, I'm telling you, the most important thing you can do right now is put everything you're doing right now down and do that CISSP. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do the CISSP. Um, CISSP opens up all the doors. Um, I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. Like, do that one first. And then you can specialize. You'll be a generalist. Like a CISSP, what's good is that it opens up many doors all at once. You'll be like a generalist that'll allow you to go into all these different. You'll be invited to come to be a SOC analyst. You'll be invited to do work on cloud stuff. You'll be invited to come in and work and do all these different specializations. But CISP by far is the one you should do. AI is a shiny object. As an IT person, it's one of those things where every time something new comes out, I did this with blockchain, I did this with cloud when it first came out, and now AI. It's a shiny object. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta get to know it. The thing is, when you're in your career, you gotta focus on one thing. Um, do your own research about it, of course, but focus on one thing at a time, and then focus your energy on that thing. If you can enter, like what I'm doing to compete with my shiny object syndrome is to integrate automation and prompt engineering into what I'm already doing. I haven't stopped what I'm doing. I'm still teaching GRC. I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do, but I'm very tempted to drop everything I'm doing and just do AI and just learn Python and just right. I'm very, very tempted to do that, but I know that's not the right answer. What I need to do is integrate it into what I'm already doing. It kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. And I know cloud, like I need to get that cloud certification. I need to get smarter on cloud. I'm integrating AI and automation into what I'm doing, prompt engineering into what I'm currently doing. And at some point when I've solidified my cloud knowledge, I already have the CISSP. So I don't need to do that. Right. Right now I need to focus on cloud, get a solid foundation on it, and then start building up and go focus in on a certification for AI. Right now, AI certifications are not hot. It's just not. It's just not. Cloud is. AI will eventually something is going to crop up with cloud that's going to be super hot. It could be um, Python. It could be machine learning. It could be it's anybody's game right now. Like right now, everything's starting to happen. Like I can't point to any one thing and say that this thing is going to take out that thing. I can say right now that agentic AI is really cool to know, because it helps you in your job. Automation is really cool to know because it helps you. But don't chase shiny objects. Do the CISSP, Rondo. I'm telling you, man. Don't. Um, that's my advice to you. Will says, you won't lose your GRC job to AI. You'll lose your job to someone using AI to do that to do GRC jobs more efficiently. Yes, that's absolutely right. Yeah. And that right there, that quote is coming from some AI CEO, and I don't remember which one it was, but that is a great quote, and that's absolutely true. Like what's happening is the use of the tool makes you way more efficient at your job. So what you need to do is integrate it into your if like talking to Rondo, like he's do CISSP, man, don't stop. Use AI tools to help study CISSP. If you're doing cloud like I'm doing, use AI to help you to learn cloud. Or if you're doing whatever you happen to be doing, just integrate it into what you're to learn more about these tools. I mean, that's what I'm doing, and it's working. And Larry says, "Hey, Larry, how you doing, man?" He says, "What's going on, everybody?" My man, Larry. Let me see. Will says, "You won't lose your job to AI. You'll lose to someone who understands how to evaluate AI risks, helps an organization securely integrate AI, and can use AI to do the GRC job more efficiently." Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. So we need to learn as much as we can about AI, um, to integrate it into our processes. And that's exactly what I'm not telling you to do anything I'm not doing. I'm learning as much as possible. I'm reading on it. I'm messing around with it. And that's how we keep our tools sharp. We just keep on sharpening our tools and everything. Dame brings up a book by Tom Clancy called The Division. I might have read one of those books. I know it's about like a cyber security team, right? Something like that. He says, I noticed it came out before 2020. Very interesting, eyebrow raising. Yeah, I believe Division was about some high tech IT division, cybersecurity division, if I'm not mistaken. Did they make a show out of that? I don't remember. Larry says, thanks for the $10, by the way. He says, from a work and employability standpoint, are you still more focused on cloud initially than AI? There's been some AI interest in the public sector, but they'll be slow to adapt. And yes. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm still focused on cloud. It's just something I need to get more. Need to get smarter on the technical back end of cloud. I've been involved with the FedRAMP and documentation side, which is basically NIST 853. I mean, it's really not that much different than that. So, but I want to like know the tools of Azure and of AWS. So I'm focused on that, and I'm glad I did because now it's starting to make a lot of sense how AI is even possible to scale. Now it's opening up my eyes. I'm seeing like, oh my God, that's it. Like I can see how this thing can scale, and I can see why Amazon is starting to move into like Amazon. I don't know if you guys seen it, but they have something called Bedrock, which is an AI product. But then they're doing something where they're expanding it into something called Nova, and they're doing the same thing Azure is doing. So Azure, Google, and Azure, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, and other all these other competing companies are all adopting some sort of AI that is public facing, and then having some kind of a tiered um, plans on it. So now Amazon has something called Nova, and they've got like a pro version and enterprise version or whatever. But they're kind of doing the same thing that Azure is doing with their products. So, and all that's possible with cloud. So for me, I just I just know that I'm glad that I went down that path, because now I can go from, another thing is that I can go from cloud AWS to machine learning, or to architect solution associate, or I can go Azure. Because now I'm starting to see like how it's scalable, how AI is scalable, and how it can be in AGI. Okay. Yeah. Public sector is going to take a while. He says, uh, by public sector, I should say that I work there. Yeah. Public sector, for those who don't know, is the government. Government's is usually pretty slow on the uptake with new technologies, and rightfully so. If they just start adopting stuff randomly, they'll get hit with some of the early adopter stuff. Kind of like what's happening with Cybertruck, which isn't, it's cool to me, but it's got all kinds of problems. It's got a lot of problems. And when people just early adopt stuff, that's what happens. And the public sector can't afford to do that kind of stuff with your data. They got to protect your information, so they can't rush into this new shiny thing that's happening. Yeah, CISSP. Will Reed is another vet out there talking about, get the CISSP. Get that first. Focus on that. Okay, and let me see. I got some more questions. I'm not going to be here much longer, guys. Let me see. On TikTok, somebody says, we need these conversations. So many platforms like AWS and Azure have lots of learning resources. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So as I've been getting into AWS, there's a ton of free resources on there, and that's where I started. I started off by taking the AWS free resources, and as I got deeper into it, I was like taking notes, watching all their videos and stuff, them explaining. Then I bought a course. I went on to Udemy. Everything I tell you guys to do, I do it. The first thing I did was, I didn't spend any money. I went on YouTube and started watching other people's videos. People like Professor Black Ops. I'm watching him and I'm like, damn, okay, he's breaking it all down. He's mapping how you use the cloud to use NIST 800. That's free. He might have some paid resources on there, but I'm watching all the free stuff right now. I'm watching all these people talk about it, and there's a ton of free resources. I'm watching all of these to figure out which direction to go for free. Then I'm like, damn, I need to get deeper. Cloud's definitely the direction I need to go to get a little bit deeper. And then I start paying. I went to Udemy, which is not very expensive. Got one of their deals, and then start watching. I think the guy's name is Merrick. He's like a French dude. Really, really good teacher. And I'm going through his whole thing while I'm reading the book. Like, I think I got it here. Let me see if I can grab it over here. Yeah, here it is right here. While reading this book, got it off of Amazon. Start off for free, and then as you get deeper, you realize, and then start paying for stuff. Now you want to invest in yourself. And I'm not telling you guys to do anything I don't personally do. I start off free, then I got it like a course, then I start buying books, and I'm going to go deeper and deeper into this. I'm even going to start a project to start paying for AWS so I can mess around with it, like set up a cloud, actual EC2s and stuff. Set up actual cloud services and mess around and mess with them. That's what I already started doing that. So, and that takes money. Let me see here. Got more stuff here. Somebody said, I've been doing a lot of Azure learning while getting my degree. Yeah, I'm going to do Azure next, I think. Next, I'm going to do Azure. I'm going to do the beginning courses of Azure to get myself smarter on that platform. I work in the environmental health and safety industry. How can I leverage AI engineering? I don't know enough about health in um, environmental health and safety industry, but what you could do is you could actually ask AI. You can go on AI and say and ask your exact question, and it'll tell you. It'll tell you how you can actually what things you can do. That's what I did in the very beginning. I said, okay, look, here's I told it. I said, I'm a cybersecurity professional. I've been doing this for 20 years. Here's my resume, right? Upload my resume. How can I leverage AI? How can I get into this field? What do you recommend that I do to get in this field? And it gave me this list of things to do. It broke down and said, look, it mentioned machine learning. It mentioned learning Python. It mentioned some certifications that I can take. It mentioned, it just gave me this big brainstorm of things that it thought that would help me out. And one of the things that it suggested on the top was learning how to do focus in on how to put GRC on AI systems, the ethical part of AI, because that's where and when I look into it, that's where I best fit, because I know the NIST 800 so well. I know other GRC topics so well that I'd be able to very easily help them with that, right? And so me, what I'm doing is I'm learning all the fundamentals first so that I can speak to it better. Just like I always tell people on this channel, learn IT. If you want to get into GRC, you got to learn IT fundamentals first. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm learning AI fundamentals. I'm learning cloud fundamentals first. And as I'm learning, I'm like, oh, like light bulbs are coming on. I'm like, okay, got it, got it, got it. And then I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper into these topics. All right, guys, I think that's about it. Thank you guys for staying with me and talking to me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Larry, for the $10, man. I really, really appreciate you. You guys always keep me going by being engaged and talking to me. I got a lot more stuff that I'm building on the back end. That's why I haven't been doing as many posts and lives and stuff. But I got something coming. It's going to take me a while to build it all up. I want to do it the right way. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm out of here, and see you next week.